Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Thank you so much for joining us. I've seen Timberwolf, I've seen Brian, I've seen Joel Ferguson, I've seen Adrian Leon, Samian111. It's awesome to see everybody out there. We are going to get started. We have a very special guest in the studio today. Well, via Skype, via technology. Marissa Roberto is joining us, and we're going to talk about the rundown stories, but we got to get through the rundown first so we can have something to talk about, and then we'll catch up with Marissa. This rundown, by the way, is dedicated to our old friend Gigaforce, who says it's another fantastic season, talking about season 3 that we just uploaded. Thank you for uploading these. I can't wait until you hit 40K so we can see season 4. You won't have to wait that long. Season 4 starts on Saturday, but let's get started with your rundown. Far Cry 5 is getting a very cool and very customizable online mode. This is something we've been dying to tell you guys about. Ubisoft has officially announced Far Cry Arcade, a new online multiplayer mode and level editor for Far Cry 5. Users will be able to make their own custom levels for multiplayer matches, as well as single-player and co-op experiences, and then fill those levels with characters, weapons, vehicles, and other assets from the game, like bears and yetis. One of the most interesting things about the creation tools is that they don't just include assets from Far Cry 5, but also other Ubisoft franchises like Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs, which makes this a much bigger experience than the level editors in previous Far Cry games. Ubisoft is also planning to update Far Cry Arcade with a steady stream of new content as part of their embrace of the games as service model. Far Cry 5 launches March 27th, as if you needed another reason to be excited about that game. Now, Marvel's Black Panther has shattered another record at the box office, but there's one important market it has yet to conquer. The heroic movie has now earned more than $500 million domestically and almost $900 million worldwide, making it the 9th highest grossing movie of all time. Congratulations. We need some cheering sound effects, I think, on the show. The fact that Black Panther has cracked the top 10 so early in its theatrical run is pretty impressive, and it's just the latest in a long line of accomplishments of the film. However, there's still one big challenge on the horizon. Black Panther will open in China this Friday, and it's unclear how well it will do in the country. Previous Marvel movies have done well there, but other big blockbusters like the Star Wars films have done terribly, so it will be interesting to see if Chinese audiences love Black Panther as much as the rest of the world. We'll keep you posted. Now, Black Panther isn't the only black superhero headlining his own adventure in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel and Netflix have announced that Luke Cage Season 2 will premiere on June 22nd. Like the first season, it will consist of 13 brand new episodes, and we'll see the super strong Luke Cage struggle with his newfound fame as a superhero following the events of last year's crossover series, The Defenders, which was bad. Marvel and Netflix have had great success with their collaborations, having produced no less than 6 separate shows, all of which have been renewed for multiple seasons. Sadly, the partnership will likely come to an end when Marvel's parent company Disney launches their own streaming service in 2019. Marissa and I will talk about that in a second. The makers of some of the biggest indie games are turning to Kickstarter to get their next project off the ground. The makers of some of the biggest indie games, right? Game maker Jules Watsham and his company Atui, which worked on hits like Zeo Drifter and Mutant Mudds, has launched a Kickstarter campaign for their next game. It's called Chicken Wiggle Workshop and is a Switch version of their recent 3DS platformer Chicken Wiggle. It's not just a straight-up port, though. The 8-bit style pixel art is being changed to a hand-drawn aesthetic, and there is also some more in-depth level editing tools and new music. Now, Jules Watsham says that they're using Kickstarter because the changes they want to make will cost some real money, obviously, and making games is always a financially risky endeavor, especially for smaller companies like Atui. Jules is awesome, though. He makes great games. Excited to talk about that with Marissa. It turns out dreams can really come true in Hollywood, even if you have absolutely no talent. The Room writer, director, star, producer, and financier Tommy Wiseau has announced his next big screen project. It's a bleak crime thriller called Scary Love, and we'll see Wiseau play a bounty hunter struggling to track down his long-lost love. Oh boy. Wiseau didn't actually direct the film, but he does play the lead, and if you've seen The Room, you already know everything you need to know about his acting chops. This is Wiseau's first project after the release of the James Franco movie, The Disaster Artist, which thrust The Room into the mainstream by showing audiences a fictionalized look behind the scenes of The Room. Scary Love will arrive later this year. We've got lots to talk about in our rundown today, and joining me is our old friend Marissa Roberta, who has never looked better and never had a cooler living room. Look at that. That's so fancy back there. It's amazing.
I know, yeah. I invested a lot of money,
Yes, it's
just did
good.
it up, you know.
I can't wait
My
to see the
hydro
rest
bill
of
is
your
insane.
apartment. No, obviously she's
take you
joining
around.
us from the set of her own show. It's called HUD. We're
Yeah.
going to find out about that. But let's talk about
Uh-huh.
the stuff in the rundown. Have you seen The Room, my friend?
I haven't. I've only seen clips that Blake has shown me over the over the years, and then so I knew. I mean, I got the gist of it. I've seen clips, and then yeah, I was really happy to see the great reviews on Disaster Artist, but have not dived in.
Well, you cannot see The Disaster Artist without seeing The Room. And
Right.
if you want to have traffic grow on your YouTube channel, on your personal one, just shoot yourself watching The Room, because it's ridiculous. Blake did that for me, and I couldn't believe what the hell I was watching. It was ridiculous. It was so nuts and so stupid, but people liked watching me go through this punishment, and I think they
Yeah.
will with you as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, you know what, the most views I usually get are with me reacting to something, and then you also get the people like, whatever, this is just a baiting reacting video. It's like, well, this is what plays on YouTube, so
Yes.
like gets the views.
Yes, it is. Yeah, YouTube is all about that personal reaction kind of thing. Well,
And you have to have like this screen grab that's like,
yeah, totally. This
You're
guy
doing it.
is, I mean, when I watched it, I was like, didn't anybody talk to him? Didn't anybody like tell him he can't act and he can't do any of that?
Yeah.
But he has had this charmed existence. He's made something so awful. He's actually turned it into a career for himself.
yeah, because it was just so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, good for him, good on him. I guess now they're taking that fame that he has, and so he's going to bring something to this movie. I don't know how that's going to work, though. I guess we're not supposed to take him seriously at all.
No, and I saw him. The last I saw of him, he was begging Mark Hamill for tickets to the Oscars on
No.
Twitter. Yes, it was hilarious. So
God, it doesn't stop.
we will see how this Tommy Wiseau project comes together. Maybe we'll do another reaction
Yeah.
screening
Yeah.
of Scary Love, which sounds like the
Yeah,
perfect
yeah.
title for a Wiseau movie.
Guy's a living meme.
Yes. Now, Far Cry 5, did you know that there was an arcade mode coming to this, the Far Cry
Yes,
arcade?
arcade mode coming. Very excited about that. I mean, all of the trailers that I've seen now for this game have been incredible. You got some hands-on time with though.
Yep.
I know
couple
that.
times. Yeah, it's addictive. It's crazy, over the top production values.
Yeah.
So much content, and this arcade thing, I think, just it takes it to another level, and that's what UB and all the big companies are trying to do. Is they're just trying to lock you in forever now, right? They want you in, and you can't leave. And so,
No, I know.
it's going to be kind of
I'm
scary.
excited for creators out there, because even like for someone like me, that's exciting to be able to build and custom create a level for someone to enjoy. Like obviously we've seen this in other video games, and that's great. Even with Disney Infinity, I remember going to cover that, and this whole community was behind it, and all they did was build worlds that other players could play in, and then it all got taken away. And so that's my biggest concern really, is to build something like this, have a big community on board, then all of a sudden one day they're like, there's not enough people now, so we're just going to pull the plug. And then all the people that invested their lives in it won't have that anymore.
This is kind of one of their crown jewels. I mean, they've had a lot of
Yeah.
success with Rainbow Six Siege and with Ghost Recon Wildlands and The Division. But this is kind of one of their go-to properties, and I think the fidelity of the experience and the stuff that they're going to be able to build within that experience using some of the other IP, it could turn into the biggest thing they've ever made. I mean, it really could.
I mean, it looks like it. And they're putting in everything from other games that were incredible, right?
Yes.
That we could even use items from those games too in this one. So, yeah, I mean, they're throwing everything at it, and I think why not? They should. And I also feel like they're looking at, other games that are doing incredibly well, like Fortnite just totally exploding,
Yes.
and like seeing how much players are going into that. So, I mean, I don't there's a possible battle royale mode that we could see happen as well,
people
because
will
somebody
build
will
that.
create that. Yeah, somebody will create that, because why not? This is what everybody's on board with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing too that Far Cry 5 has kind of changed for me. Like when it was announced last year, I was a bit kind of nervous about sort of fueling fires of people having militias and taking up arms and these preppers and stuff like that. And that was pre-Trump getting sort of winning the nomination and then winning the election. And
Yeah.
now we're in a post thing, and there's like the gun violence issue is so. This game is going to be so much
Yeah.
fuel for the news. It's going to be crazy, but I feel like
Yeah.
that's probably a good thing. Keep this
It's a
conversation
good
going.
thing. For sure. I think it's a good thing for any publisher to get their game on mainstream media, to have
Yes.
mainstream media talking about it, because
Yep.
that means that, guess what? Everybody's talking about it, good or bad. So, well, I mean, just like we are all chiming in as gamers, getting like up in arms about this whole like video game causes violence thing. I mean, yes, those things will be back on the news. It'll be, on the top of people's minds. But I mean, that still sells games at the end of the day, because people that play games understand that that's not really the way it works.
Have you seen Black Panther? Let's move
I
on.
have.
And what'd you think?
I loved it. I loved it, but I went a week after it came out. So the hype had already been out there. And you know how I feel about hype, where it's
Yeah.
just like, relax.
Yes.
So I didn't see any trailers. I didn't watch any reviews until I went in to just preserve myself. And I was really happy. I didn't like that I saw some people commenting that Michael B. Jordan was better than Heath Ledger. Like, why would you make that comparison,
Right.
first of all?
Yeah.
Really didn't like that.
Yeah.
But I thought he was incredible. I thought the script was lovely. The characters were so wonderful, and you can just, I don't know, I just lived in it when it was happening. I was entertained the entire way through. So I'm not surprised by its success, because it's just a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if the whole ethnicity thing necessarily needs to even be a conversation. Obviously it is, but I think it's just a good movie on its own. I don't think that the whole, bringing new characters into light or different ethnicities into light needs to even be a conversation. I feel like it's just a good movie.
Well, it totally stands on its own, but I feel like
Yeah.
the idea that we've got this group of people that we don't normally see in a superhero genre, taking these roles so convincingly and so commandingly. That's what was fresh about it, because we've seen similar kinds of superheroics, but we just haven't seen these kinds of faces and
Right.
these particular actors take such a command, and they were amazing.
For sure.
Michael B. Jordan
No,
was
you're-
astounding in this movie.
Of course, he always is. I love that Michael
Yeah.
B. But I mean, even in what was that horrible movie we saw, Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
It was awful, but he was good.
Yeah.
Like, he was good.
Yep.
No, I mean, yes, he was fantastic, but it's just like with anything, like any kind of minority, like the fact that we had that incredible Wonder Woman movie, like if that didn't do well, I would have been so devastated, not just for the fact that they ruined Wonder Woman, but that they didn't give this opportunity for a woman superhero, for a superheroine to shine
Yeah.
the way she should.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Black Panther. It's like, I didn't know the story. I didn't understand the story. I didn't follow the lore at all
Yep.
until I saw him in his moment. And I was so happy that he had a moment, that we actually get to see this now. So hopefully we'll have more different ethnicities.
Well, you know what?
played.
It's just different. I think it's just
Yeah.
come up with unique stuff.
Yeah.
Like games, movies, media, period. Like we need different ideas and different characters and different stories, and that's what diversity really means. It doesn't just mean
That's true.
skin color
Different
and,
colors,
and
yeah.
sexual orientation. It doesn't mean any
Yeah.
of that stuff. It means make it fresh, and that's what Black Panther was, and Wonder Woman was as well.
I agree. Yeah, exactly. I'm 100 with you on this. You know that I am.
Yes.
I wish I could have seen it with you.
I know, that sucks. We were talking during one of our many crashes that seems to happen. Thank you, OBS. About how we don't see the movies like we used to see the movies together. And I miss that very much. I miss you very much. It's
Aw,
crazy to
I miss
see
you
you
too.
right there. I can touch you on the screen, but you're not here with us, which is crazy.
I'm here. I'm in T-Dot.
Yes. And you're having a great time. We're going to get to your amazing success over the last year or so of lots of cool things going on, which I'm very happy for. But let's finish with Jules Watson. With Jules Watsham, and I keep butchering his name. Sorry, Jules. I never say his last name. I only say his first name.
But this is like a buddy of yours. Like, you know him, right?
Yeah, I visited him when I was in. He lives in Austin, Texas. And he's a wonderful developer. His history goes back a long way. I think he worked on NBA Jam or something. Like, he's been making games forever. And he went off and said, look, I'm going to go indie and develop games for the DS and the 3DS. So he made Mutant Mudds and Zeo Drifter and lots of little games along the way. Dementium, I think, may have been his as well. And he just comes up, he pops up with these new cool concepts all the time. Tried a little bit of iOS stuff. But then I didn't even hear about this chicken wiggle thing, but he reached out and he said, look, we've got this Kickstarter happening. And the thing that I dig about it is that, like, he really puts what he does on his sleeve. Like, it's so easy to see that his work translates exactly to what he wants to make. And every tweet he puts out, he's just a passionate dude, you know? And I love to see that entrepreneurial spirit and that passion. And he also makes great games. Like, Mutant Mudds is terrific. Zeo Drifter is terrific. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard of this. You said Chicken Wiggle?
Yes. He sent me the code, and unfortunately I haven't had time to play the 3DS game. But I trust him because he ported Zeo Drifter to the Switch, and I checked that out. It's great, and Mutant Mudds is excellent on the Switch. I don't know if you've picked that up. It's incredible. But I trust him. Like, he knows the machines. That's the other thing, is half the tweets that he puts out there, this guy. And that, like, he's a 1 or 2 person shop as well. He's one of these developers.
I was going to say, how big is his team?
Yeah, I mean, I think he scales up when he needs to, but he does a lot of stuff on his own. But he talks about buying games and being excited for video games. Like, this guy lives and breathes it, you know? And that's what I love about it. Just like me, yeah, a little bit. And Marissa Roberto as well.
No, I feel like I've been living in this esports world for a minute, and I haven't played enough games, actually. But yeah, I miss.
Yeah, you speak a language I don't know how to decipher. I've done some esports.
You pleb.
Yes. But congrats, Jules. His Kickstarter just kicked off, so if you're a fan of his indie work, you should go and check that out.